And we're back. Sorry, I got a little bit of a late start here. The notice didn't go out until like 10 minutes before because I was trying to get my notes organized until the very last second because I was up late working on the Mortal Kombat review. And I'm going to shoot that after I get done with this. Hopefully that'll be out tomorrow. So I kind of slept late and was late doing everything again because my body clock is all kinds of screwed up. Sorry about that. Anywho, we're talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 6. And yeah, you guys know what you're doing. You hear my voice. Already put the 1 in the chat. Awesome. All right. Falcon Winter Soldier, episode 6. You guys know the drill by now. I'm going to go through everything. I'm going to give my thoughts on the episode, and then we'll do super chats and comments at the end. And I know I say this a lot, I know, but I don't want to go too long because I got to shoot another review after I get done with this. I got to save my voice a little bit, so let's try to keep this to a reasonable length. Anyway, let me just get my notes. Where are they? Here they are. Yoink. Put that over here. All right. Okay, just getting this out of the way first. I told you guys last week that I had to make a decision about the live streams because something was killing my analytics, and the only thing I could come up with is that the live streams were doing it because that's the way the algorithm works now. So, still not sure if I should start a new channel just for live streams or what. But my thinking is that I'm probably going to stop doing the live streams on Saturday and instead maybe switch over to like a quick take review style format where I'll keep talking about the Marvel Disney Plus shows one episode at a time, but I'm going to do it like review style, but not a long form where I go through absolutely everything like with the Batwoman reviews. More like I'll just give my quick impressions, do like a quick summation of the episode's plot, and then just go right to the review stuff. So maybe like try to keep them under 10 minutes so I can make them really quickly and get them out in a timely fashion that won't completely destroy my schedule and stop me from reviewing anything else in the week. Because that's kind of what happened with the Superman and Lois review. Because doing 2 of those reviews a week didn't leave me much time for anything else. This way, I could hopefully make it in like a day. So like when Loki comes out, I review that episode by episode. Maybe make that review in a day or so. And so I still have time to do movie reviews and trailer reactions and other stuff like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to try that. Maybe get the analytics back to where I'd like them to be, because they're just getting destroyed right now. And ad revenue is kind of struggling as well. So something's got to change, and it sucks because financially the live streams have been worth doing because the super chats kind of grease the wheels a little bit there, but I gotta fix my analytics. So I'm not really sure. So if and when I start a live streaming channel, I will let you guys know. I haven't made a decision about that yet. Right now, I think we're just going to switch over to the quick take review style format. I think that's where I'm leaning. Haven't made a concrete decision yet, but I'll let you guys know. Anyway, Falcon Winter Soldier finale, episode 6. Let's do this. So we begin with the news covering the GRC building being under attack. Sam is flying in. Bucky's already there. Also, Sam called in backup. Sharon is there, wearing one of those face masks from Captain America Winter Soldier. How on earth did Sharon get there so fast when she was supposed to be in Madripoor? Beats me, and they don't bother explaining it. That's going to be a recurring theme with Sharon in this episode. So Carly sees Sam in the sky, so the Flag Smashers release smoke bombs in the GRC conference room, forcing all the people out. So Sam crashes through the window in his brand spanking new Captain America suit. I gotta say, I'm not loving the color scheme. The design is fine. I think it's pretty comics accurate for when Sam was Captain America in the comics, but I think that the colors are too bright. Like, Steve's costume was always darker than that. I think darker colors work better for, the red, white, and blue stuff. I think the brighter colors just look kind of silly, in my opinion. Points for comic accuracy, I think, but Sam, I don't know. I don't think the bright colors work for him. Anyway, security is trying to move the people out. Sam says that's a misdirect and to keep them inside. He radios Bucky and Sharon to keep the people inside, but then Bartrock attacks. Then we go to Bucky, who is given a phone by some woman so Carly can talk to him. And she says it doesn't matter if he dies since she's fighting for something bigger than herself, and and hasn't he ever tried to do that? He says that's all he ever tried to do, and he failed twice. And also, her cause doesn't justify all the death, and urges her not to do this, but she doesn't listen. So, downstairs, the GRC are being loaded into police vans and locked in by undercover Flag Smashers with some gizmo that kind of seals the doors in. Sharon watches this from a hiding place, then gives Bucky crap for letting it happen, telling him he had one job while he chases after the vans and she just stands there doing nothing. Great job, Sharon. Sharon did put a gas grenade or something in one of the vans to stop the driver, but like 2 or 3 of them got away while she just stood there. Shut up, Sharon. At least Bucky's chasing after them. Other GRC people are trying to escape by helicopter. One of the Flag Smashers is the pilot, of course. And then we're back to Sam and Bartrock. They're kind of evenly matched now, more so than they were last time. But we still don't get a definitive winner. Sam has to bail on the fight to chase after the helicopter, and now this fight will never be resolved, unfortunately. So Sam tells Red Wing to see if anyone in the copter has flight training. Turns out one of them does, but he's got to take out the pilot first. Meanwhile, Carly and the Flag Smashers are waiting for their people to get there with the trucks. And Carly says, worst case scenario, they just kill the hostages. Yeah, because before, they were only using them to negotiate, but Carly's really off the deep end. She's full-blown fanatic now. And either way, their message gets out to the world. The others don't look too happy about this, but none of them have the guts to stand up to her. So the vans arrive with Bucky in hot pursuit, and he does this really cool move where he does like a reverse wheelie on the motorcycle on the front wheel, which launches him over the barricade. It's pretty badass, actually. So he starts fighting them. Carly says they need a diversion, so they light one of the vans on fire with gasoline. So Bucky has to save the people in the van, and then John Walker shows up at that point looking for payback. Carly says she didn't mean to kill his friend, and she doesn't want to kill people who don't matter. And John says, "You don't think Lamar's life mattered?" Subtle. Very subtle. So they're fighting now. Why don't any of the Flag Smashers have guns? Didn't Bartrock give them a case full of weapons? I know they're super soldiers, and so I guess they kind of want to show off their super soldier stuff, but like, it's just weird that none of them have guns. I don't get it. I know, I understand Bucky not wanting to use a gun because he's trying to get away. He doesn't want the violence. He's trying to disassociate himself from the Winter Soldier stuff. I get that. Even John, I understand, because he's still trying to be Captain America at this point. Why do the Flag Smashers not have guns? It's weird. Alright, so they're fighting now. Bucky saves the hostages from the fire One of them thanks him, which is nice. That seems like something Bucky doesn't hear very much. But now John's getting overwhelmed, and he seems to be having another anxiety attack, which is messing him up. So Bucky has to help him. One of the Flag Smashers kicks Bucky off the ledge because there's a construction site down below, I guess. Bucky sticks the landing, and then the Flag Smasher jumps down and attacks him. Then we're back to Sam. The copter takes out an NYPD helicopter, so Sam has to break off pursuit to save those guys. He lets them down on a bridge. Everyone applauds. He goes he goes back to chasing the copter. He tries to get in close but gets knocked into the water, so he calls the hostage on her phone. Well, one of them, like the one who can fly, and says, so they're going to work together. On the count of 5, grab the controls. Sam throws the shield through the copter. He takes out the pilot. She grabs the controls. Excuse me. It's a really cool sequence, and it goes for quite a while. I guess that's what they were saving their money for in the previous episode. Money well spent. It looks great. Fun action sequence. No real complaints. If anything, it almost went too long. But hey, after the last episode was nothing but boat stuff, that's not really a bad thing, I think. Back to John. He's fighting Carly one-on-one now, and she actually gets the better of him, which I don't really buy. I mean, look at her and look at him. Yeah, that's not happening. Maybe the anxiety is still messing with John. That's the only explanation I can come up with, but it's kind of a weak argument. But, you know, she gets the better of him for a second there because they've got to make this action scene longer. So she jumps in the second van and drives it over the ledge, right on top of Bucky, who just defeated the other Flag Smasher down below. Carly jumps out, but the van catches on the construction, like steel girders, and so John now has to choose between saving the hostages or going after Carly. He takes a minute to think about it. He's genuinely conflicted about this. But credit to him, he eventually does the right thing, and he tries to save the hostages. Tries to pull the van back to safety while the Flag Smashers attack him. But it's all too much, and they all fall off the construction site. But Sam stops it. And this did not look right. Yeah, Sam has like the thrusters on the flight suit, and he's got the drones to assist him with pushing the van back up, but he's still holding the van up with his arms. And he shouldn't be able to do that because he doesn't have super strength. Now, maybe the new suit enhances his strength or something. There was no mention made of that. So I don't know. I think if they just positioned Anthony Mackie a little differently, this wouldn't have been an issue. But as it is, it just looks weird. It looks like it's him holding up the van, and he should not be able to do that. And if you do that, you got to explain how. Is it the suit? Fine. Just say so and move on. So Sam tries to confront Carly. No, hold on. I skipped ahead. Sam saves the hostages. And all the bystanders applaud. That's the Black Falcon right there, says one guy. No, says another. That's Captain America. Kinda cheesy, but okay, Sam earned that one. So he confronts Carly. But Bartrock shoots some smoke grenades into the area, and the Flag Smashers run. Sam's got them on his visor thing, so he follows. Bucky calls Sharon to tell her where they are. The bad guys split up, so Bucky and John go one way, Sam goes another. But Sharon catches up to Carly before Sam does. They point guns at each other, and then Sharon drops hers. And it's revealed that Carly used to work for Sharon because Sharon is the power broker. Because now we were theorizing about this last week, because there had to be an explanation for the Sharon stuff, and this is it. Okay? Bartrock shows up. Sharon hired him to spy on Carly. This explains that weird plot hole in the last episode, but it also opens up some new ones that I can't account for. If Sharon is the power broker, why did she jeopardize her super soldier operation by telling Sam, Bucky, and frickin' Zemo where to find Dr. Nagel? She had to know what might happen if they found him. Why not just tell them that she doesn't know where the power broker is? She just really wanted that pardon Sam promised her, I guess, but still, there's a lot you have to take with a grain of salt here. A lot. And, that never gets explained either. Just saying. So Bartrock tries to pull a fast one and says that Sharon's going to pay him 4 times what she promised or the whole world will know who she is. But Sharon doesn't do blackmail, so they start firing at each other. Turns out Sharon's aim is a little better than his, so Bartrock is seemingly dead, I think, but while Sharon is only wounded. And that bugged me a little bit. Taking down Bartrock was supposed to be Sam's moment. Bartrock had the grudge against Sam. That's the whole reason he did this. And then he gets killed by Sharon without settling his business with Sam. It doesn't feel right. That was Sam's guy to take down. I mean, he couldn't overcome Bartrock in the first episode. Then their second fight ends in kind of a draw. And then he just gets killed by Sharon before Sam can fight him again. It's very strange the way they did that. So Sam finally shows up. He tries to reason with Carly again, and again she's not having it. So he has to fight her now, and I like how Sam's using his wings here to compensate for his lack of super strength. Like she knocks him back, and he uses the wings to break his fall and prop him back up. That's cool. It's weird that he didn't do that before, frankly. But he's doing it now, and that works. He's not a super soldier, but he's using what he's got to even the odds. So Sam is playing mostly defense here. Carly's screaming at him to fight back, but he doesn't really. He drops the shield, she picks up a gun, but the Wakandans made Sam's new suit, so it's almost certainly bulletproof. So I'm not sure how much danger he's actually in here. But then Sharon shoots Carly before she can use the gun anyway. Carly tells Sam that she's sorry, and she dies. From a bullet. Carly shrugged off bullet wounds and healed up from them very quickly in an earlier episode, but now a bullet kills her. Sharon just knows where to aim, I guess, but I thought super soldiers were more resilient than this. So yeah, basically the whole first half of the episode, maybe a little bit more, was all action scene. And I liked the action, though there were some bits in here that that made me tilt my head a little bit. Anyway, the other Flag Smashers are getting directions on their phones, but Bucky has one of their phones, remember, so him and John just cut them off with a whole squad of cops, so they get captured. And then they make a big show of Sam carrying Carly's dead body out of there, all slow and dramatic-like. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, Sharon is still alive, just sitting there with a bullet wound. Doesn't she need medical attention right now? I mean, shouldn't she take priority here? Apparently not. No, it's more important that we show off Carly's dead body to everybody, because Carly was the victim, somehow. Anyway, so there's tons of bystanders that see this. The news is there broadcasting everything. The GRC people thank Sam. They say he did his part dealing with these terrorists, and now they're going to do their part. And they're still going through with the vote to reset the borders, and Sam says they have to stop calling these people terrorists. The GRC are forcing millions of people into settlements all over the world, and what do you think those people are going to call you? Oh boy. Here's where it gets a little bit messy. One of the GRC guys says it's very complicated. For example, someone disappears for 5 years, then reappears out of nowhere to find someone else living in his home. Should that person just be homeless now? Should he not get his house back? And that's a good point. And Sam doesn't really have an answer. But he says the guy is right, that it is complicated, and maybe that's a good thing. And Sam proceeds to make this big speech about how people have been begging the GRC to feel how hard this stuff is, and what it feels like to be helpless, and they're having the same impact as the force that erased half the planet a while back. And Sam doesn't really offer up any solutions here, but he's quick to chastise the GRC for everything they've been doing wrong. So, yeah, it's like everyone else is wrong, but I don't have the answer. But he doesn't have the answers either, but it doesn't matter as long as he makes sure that everyone knows that the GRC is wrong. And here's where it gets really preachy. The guy says Sam doesn't understand, but Sam's like, I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes, what don't I understand? Every time he picks up the shield, he knows there are millions of people who are going to hate him for it. But he's here with no super soldier serum and no blonde hair or blue eyes. The only power he has is believing that they can do better. And this is being broadcast on the news. John and Bucky watch. Isaiah Bradley watches with his grandson. And Sam's not done yet. He says they control the banks. They move borders. They can knock down a forest with an email, feed 1 million people with a phone call. I don't think it's nearly as simple as that, but the writers think it is. So that's what they're going with. But who's in the room when you're making these decisions, he asks. Is it the people you're impacting, or is it more people just like you? That's the closest Sam gets to offering up a solution to any of these problems. And I'm not sure how much of a solution it is. Carly died trying to stop you, and no one has stopped to ask why. He tells the senator that he has to do better because people believed in Carly's case so much that they helped her defy the strongest governments in the world. And why do you think that is? He dresses them all down for not using their power better. And it's all very preachy. It takes a very skilled writer to pull off a scene like this without it coming off that way. And I don't think they managed it. This was supposed to be Sam telling the GRC what they're doing wrong. And it kind of felt more like Sam lecturing the audience about what we're doing wrong. And I just wanted to watch an adventure story, guys. And now the writers are trying to make me feel guilty about it. I don't think they struck the right note here. And look, as understandable as the Flag Smashers' motivations might have been, Carly still killed a number of people. And we can't even call them terrorists? What are we supposed to call them? But now we're supposed to sympathize with them instead of the people that they hurt or killed? Okay, all right, try to understand both sides. That's important. I get that part, but I mean, terror is still terror at the end of the day. Yeah, it can be a catalyst for change, but I mean, are we not even allowed to call the bad guys anymore? It just seems like the writers are trying to make a simple issue out of an issue that is inherently very complicated. And it just that's not really how it works, guys. It's anyway, hopefully Sam has, got that all off his chest now. He gives John a nod, so they've made a kind of peace, possibly now that John's had a semi-redemptive moment. Bucky says Sam did a nice job, and he calls him Cap. That's cool. Sharon appears to be okay. Just a flesh wound, maybe, so she doesn't want to go to the hospital. Bucky takes her out of there. Maybe he can patch her up himself. Some guy tells Sam they got eyes on the last flag smasher who fell in the Hudson, so Sam takes off to get that guy. Later, the flag smashers are being loaded into a van to be taken to the raft. One of the cops whispers to them, "One world, one people." So you think they're getting out of there, but then the van explodes, blown up by a man watching from a car, and I'm pretty sure that was Zemo's butler. I didn't have time to go check, but I'm pretty sure that was him. Then we cut over to the raft where Zemo listens to the news about the flag smashers being killed in a car bombing, and he smiles. I know I'm not supposed to like Zemo, but damn it, I do. He's just so sly. Anyway, sometime after that, we check in with Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. She's waiting for John, who comes out wearing the same suit, but it's black now. He seems to be a lot more relaxed, a lot more comfortable now that the pressure of trying to be Captain America is off. So his mental health can only improve now, I think. Don't quote me on that. Fontaine says, things are about to get weird, and when they do, we're not going to need a Captain America, we're going to need a U.S. agent. So John and his wife like this idea, and so do I. John's a good character, kind of a dick at times, but he's really interesting and was certainly one of the breakout characters of this show. So if we're going to get more of John Walker in a future project, another show, possibly a movie, that's cool with me. So Bucky visits his friend Yuri from the first episode, finally confesses to him what happened to his son. He was murdered by the Winter Soldier, and that was me. I didn't have a choice. So Bucky finally gets that monkey off his back. We don't really know how Yuri reacts to this. Maybe that's not important. But hopefully he finally has closure. Then Bucky leaves Dr. Rayner a gift. It's his book with all the names finally crossed out. And he sees Yuri in the restaurant. He shares a look with the cute girl that he had a date with in the first episode. I don't know if there's going to be a second date, but hey, go for it, Bucky. She seemed like a nice girl. Sam visits Isaiah Bradley. He ain't a Black Falcon anymore, but he's still black. We're still making it about that stuff. Okay. They talk about the GRC, who are apparently standing down on those plans of theirs after Sam chastised them on national news. So Sam must have done something right, ha ha ha. Except that this is just going to leave the whole situation a mess without really resolving anything. You know, all those people who are displaced are just going to stay displaced now. So, was the solution... Did Sam think the solution was just to do nothing? Are the GRC and the governments of the world just supposed to do nothing about this issue? So all the people who got displaced who disappeared in the blip, come back, and all the people whose lives became better during the blip still got screwed over, and now we're just not doing anything about the situation? I'm not sure what was really accomplished here. I mean, Sam stopped the GRC from doing whatever they were doing, and now we're just going to do nothing? What kind of an ending is that? I don't know. So Sam has finally accepted the role of Captain America, and Isaiah's he's cool with that now. Because Sam won him over now that Isaiah's seen that the people of America won't lynch Sam for it. And, Sam knows it won't be easy. He might fail, he might even die. But they built this country and bled for it, and he won't let anyone tell him that he can't fight for it. Excuse me. Damn voice. Not after everything that people before him went through, and that includes Isaiah. So he takes Isaiah and his grandson over to the Captain America Museum, where there's an exhibit dedicated to Isaiah Bradley. And there's like a monument. There's a big Isaiah statue here, and there's stuff saying everything Isaiah went through. And I guess Isaiah doesn't have to come back from the dead, but everybody knows what he did now. And they'll know what he went through and all that stuff, and that means a lot to him. So Isaiah gives Sam a hug, even though Sam did this without his consent. Might have been nice to get that first, but Isaiah's touched anyway. And then we go back to Sam's home, where there's a neighborhood barbecue, thankfully with no more boat stuff. Everybody's taking pictures with the new Captain America. Bucky shows up looking as carefree as he's been since we met him in the first Avenger. Everybody's happy. The end. And I don't know what they're going to do about the boat. Nothing was really resolved with that. It's still a money pit for Sam's family. And they still haven't gotten that loan. So what's going to happen with the boat? Or is Sam's sister just going to go out of business? Are they going to go into debt to keep this boat? Holy shit, they spent all that time with the boat stuff and then they never resolved the boat plot. What the hell? What happened with the boat? You can't spend all that time with the boat and then just not resolve it. What happened with the stupid boat? I really want to know now, damn it. But no, they don't resolve that. And then in the stinger, Sharon gets her pardon. She gets an apology from the U.S. government and gets reinstated to her old division. Yay. And then on her way out of the building, she calls someone and tells them to start lining up buyers because super soldiers may be off the menu, but we're about to have full access to government secrets and prototype weapons, and there should be something for everybody. So I guess Sharon's a villain now. Aunt Peggy would be proud? So after this episode comes out, there's a news article making the rounds that Captain America 4 is now in development, being written by the showrunner of Falcon Winter Soldier. And I guess another one of the staff writers. If it was by the writers of the first 3 Captain America movies, I'd be more excited about this. As it is, I have some concerns. As I'm sure many of you do. So that was Captain America. That was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we're wrapped up on this show now. Parts of this episode were good. I liked the action. I liked most of the action, and there was a lot of action. Even though there were some questionable bits in there. Like with Sam holding up the truck when he really shouldn't be able to do that. The Flag Smashers not using guns. It's very strange. But for the most part, the action was good, though. It was good. I was satisfied with the action we got here. And there was a lot of it. I like the twist with Sharon being the power broker, but it does raise a bunch of questions that I don't have answers for, and I'm not sure the writers have answers for them either. Again, why did she tell them how to find Nagel? I mean, she must have known what was probably going to happen there. I need clarification on a lot of these things. Bucky's stuff was good. I think his arc was one of the best ones, one of the most emotionally affecting ones of the show. He's got his redemption now. It feels like he's earned it. And, yeah, not too many complaints with the Bucky story. The John Walker stuff worked very well for me. I'm glad he's sticking around, and I'm glad he didn't get fully redeemed. He just decided to not be a vengeful asshole in that moment. But I think he's going to continue to be a morally gray and complex guy, and I think that works for him. So, not a hero, not a villain, maybe an anti-hero who does bad stuff sometimes. And then there's Sam's stuff, and look. I'm happy for Sam. I'm glad he's Captain America. I'm glad he's getting his own movie. I just wish they could have gotten him there without the lecture. I mean, he could have. I think he could have. He could have sent that message to the GRC without it being so preachy about it. You know? And overall, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think, was a very mixed bag. Episodes 1 and 2 definitely had some kinks. 3 and 4 were really good. 5 was mostly boat stuff, but the character work I thought was effective when it wasn't getting too political. And the finale had a lot of action that I enjoyed, some plot holes I can't account for, and a big lecture that I could have done without. Very mixed bag of a show overall. I don't know. Normally, Kevin Feige is more on top of things than this. Maybe he's spreading himself a little bit too thin, or maybe he's got other people in charge of the Disney Plus shows. I don't know. But usually he's more consistent than this. I expect the movies will continue in that vein, but I don't know. Maybe the TV is just a little bit too much. Anyway. Get your super chats in. We will cover all of those as well as the comments. Shannon Jones, thank you for the super chat. I'm getting tired of writers writing characters using their blackness. Preach about how hard it is to be black. That completely takes away from the show. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the showrunner is a white guy too. So I don't know. It's maybe it's maybe it's not my place to comment on this. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to really express myself here because I know I don't have like the right perspective on that experience. I understand that. It's just the whole thing, that whole plot just has felt awkward from the outset, and I've kind of explained my reasons on that, you know, but it's just always seemed a little odd, you know. I thought Sam's whole arc was about him accepting the role of Captain America, and it was, but they introduced all these new issues into it that never seemed to be a factor for Sam before, until suddenly they became the biggest factor that was influencing his decision. It just seemed like it wasn't as organic as it probably should have been. And maybe that's all I should say about that. Do I want to install updates for tonight? Later. Anthony Guidis, I hope I got that right. Thank you for the super chat. No comments. Thank you anyway. Very much appreciated. Sty Games, thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry, but lifting one truck doesn't redeem using the shield to murder a guy in cold blood. The Last of Us 2 suffered from trying to do the same thing. No, I'm not saying it redeemed John fully. It made me think a little better of him. Like I said, it was a redemptive moment. I don't think it fully redeemed the man. But I think it showed that he's not a black and white guy. He's a shades of gray character. Sometimes he can do the right thing, and sometimes he can screw up and go off the deep end. I think he's going to continue to operate in that area. But I felt better about John as a person in that moment. Not letting him off the hook, because he still, murdered a man in cold blood and then lied about why he did it. So I think John definitely needs some time on the couch with a good therapist at the very least. But I felt good about him in that moment anyway. Hey guys, we got 206 people watching right now, but only 71 thumbs up. What's going on? I'm sorry, I watch a lot of podcasts where people say that stuff. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else is in the comments here. The conclusion they gave John Walker was terrible. Let's now be excited about the U.S. agent thing after watching him murder someone in cold blood with Cap's shield and then try to murder Sam and Bucky. Well, I don't know if we're necessarily supposed to be excited about U.S. agent. I'm interested to see what he does. And again, I'm not letting him off the hook for anything, but I don't necessarily have to like a character to want to see more of them. I think John is an interesting character. I don't like him much as a person, but I think he's he's a good character. And I don't think he's going to be a hero now. I think Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is I don't think she's going to be a good guy. She's going to have some nefarious intentions, and John is probably going to continue to be a morally gray character. Oh, I can be interested to see what he does next, even if I'm not, I'm not letting him off the hook for anything. Totally understandable. Do what you gotta do. Thanks for the update. I hope it works out for the new changes. All right, thank you. Again, I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about the whole streaming situation yet. I would like to continue doing them every Saturday, but if they're killing my analytics, it's not going to be tenable because I got to get the analytics back up. Otherwise, the channel is not going to grow because my growth is just stagnated. If it's not because of the live streams, then I don't know what it is. So maybe if I stop the live streams for a little bit and go back to just doing normal reviews, maybe I can get the analytics back up. If that's what the issue was, then maybe I can start a separate channel just for live streams. I got to figure out exactly what the problem is first, though. Yeah, Sam looks like a damn rocket pop. Yeah, that I'm not sure the suit exactly works for him. I think darker colors would have been better. Maybe they can make some adjustments to it. Like I think the design works. It's just the color scheme. It's just a little. It's too bright. It's too bright. Let's see, I hate the headgear. Yeah, just I don't know. Maybe they could have done a few more costume tests with that stuff. Hopefully, when they get around to making the movie, they'll alter the suit a little bit. See, I don't understand why Sam felt inadequate to be Cap because of his skin color when Steve got chosen because of his heart, not his skin color. Well, I guess this was... This is one of those things I felt they could have explained better. Because, again, that didn't appear to be an issue for Sam until suddenly it was the biggest issue. And it kind of came out of nowhere. And this is where I think they could have explained a lot by giving Sam a conversation with Rhodey in the first episode while Rhodey was there. Because I think the writers missed an opportunity there to kind of explain where Sam was mentally and emotionally about the whole thing. Like if they'd had a conversation where Sam explained that he had misgivings about becoming Captain America because of A, B, C, D, whatever. And Rhodey, given his take on the whole thing, that could have gone away towards fleshing out all the motivations behind Sam's decision, that they just didn't go for it. So yeah, I mean, so in the end, we're left with some questions about all that stuff. It's felt like, you're right. That could have been explained better. I'm glad you're mentioning the gun thing. Yeah, weird thing, I didn't even have that in my notes. It's just something that came to me, like in the moment. Like, wait a damn minute. They're all fighting hand to hand. Like, they only use guns when the story lets them. It's very strange. I guess they want to show off their super soldier chops, I guess, but a gun will still kill a person pretty easily, And the games. Shannon Jones, thank you for another super chat. You glad this season of Batwoman is almost over? Yeah. Yeah, this season has been pretty painful. Although some people are telling me that there's actually several more episodes than I thought. I don't know. There's some confusion about that. I don't know. It's either 2 more episodes or it's like 7 more episodes or something. I don't know. I got to look that up. Because I heard it was only half a season. But now they're telling me no. It's like 19 or 20 episodes. I don't know. I got to look into that. But am I glad it's almost over? For my mental health, yeah. Financially, maybe not, because those episodes still put in a good chunk of my revenue. So they're kind of a necessary evil a lot of the time. And again, ad revenue is kind of middling at the moment, so I got to work on those analytics. Stefan Korn, I think you're a new one. Thank you for the $10. Your t-shirts, please explain. What do you need explained? I wear gray t-shirts because well, I don't know. I've gone over this before, I think. I wear gray because it's really easy to adjust with the chroma key. It's kind of a neutral color, so I don't have to do that much to it. I just, I go into the chroma key, I take this up a little bit and take this down a little bit, and then I'm done. I don't have to screw with it. It's a time saver. Also, I just like gray shirts. I don't know why. The color is soothing to me. If I ever get that merchandise store opened up, I don't think gray will be in there because I think this is kind of just a me thing. But yeah, I just like gray shirts. I don't know. That might be an Asperger's thing for me. Because there was this one time where my dad said that he would give me money to buy new clothes as long as they weren't gray. So I guess he noticed it too. I didn't take him up on the offer because what's I didn't even notice, but yeah, I do wear a lot of gray shirts. Strange. She straight up doesn't care that she killed people, and yet she gets to be carried out at the end like a friggin' hero. Yeah, there was some mixed messaging going on there. And the writers want us to understand that it's a complicated issue, but you know, she's still a murderer. Oh, and we have to understand why she did all the things she did, and we have to feel sorry for her. But you know, she's still a criminal. She still did bad things. I understand that it's complicated, but is it that complicated? I don't know. And also, if Sam's gonna dress everybody down and then not offer up any solutions, then what are we really accomplishing here? I don't know. Tired of all these speeches. Bucky with Sarah's kids was awesome. Yeah, that was nice. As him playing with everybody without the kids hanging off the cyborg arm, that was cute. I believe she could get the better of John because she's more used to her body in its enhanced state. He's still getting used to his new strength, speed, and reactions. Okay. And plus, he did have that anxiety attack during the fight. I just thought that could have been explained a little bit better. They could just never let John have a win. He tries to save them, but still fails. He hasn't had a win the whole series. Well, I mean, he kept the van from falling long enough for Sam to swoop in and get it. So, I mean, if John hadn't been there, that van still would have... all those people would have died. I mean, he helped. I think that was enough. I was sick of them saying I don't have blue hair, blue eyes or blonde hair. I rolled my eyes because who cares? Yeah. Ideally this wouldn't be an issue, and you could have a black Captain America without being referred to as the Black Captain America, and he could just be Captain America, and the black thing wouldn't really be a factor in it. And yeah, I guess there are people who care, because I mean enough people cared about this to make it an issue, even if it was just the people on the writing staff. And I understand that there are issues there that ought to be talked about. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's asking for too much that they just don't make an issue out of it. But it's I don't know. Maybe it just came down to the execution. Like I said, I mean, it takes a skilled writer to pull something like this off, and more often than not, it just comes off preachy, I think. Sam's Falcon arms would have ripped off. Yeah, they needed to position Anthony Mackie better in that when he was lifting that van up. I mean, if it's the suit enhancing his strength, fine. Just tell us that. Because we don't know. You know, it's a Wakandan flight suit, so I assume it's all tricked out with gadgets and whatnot, but just tell us that and move on. The speech was definitely out of place. There's a new excuse going around now. Apparently the story for Falcon Winter Soldier was changed due to COVID. So maybe it was originally something else? Alright, maybe. A simple fix would be to let the drones land first. That would have been better. MCU is dead and this show killed it. Nobody wants Captain America to be replaced, yet they're going to try to push Falcon as Cap in all the upcoming movies. Well, they couldn't just have Chris Evans play Captain America forever. Maybe Chris wanted to retire from the role. His contract was up. It's possible they tried to make a new deal with him and it just didn't go through. Also, there is a basis for Sam becoming Captain America in the comics. That did happen in the comics for a while. So if they've got Sam, but they don't have Steve anymore, so what are they supposed to do? I mean, I think there is a story there with Sam being Captain America. I think it's fine if they want to do it. I mean, what were their options here? If they couldn't get Chris Evans back, then, Steve's story was kind of wrapped up. Should they just have Steve continue on past the point where his character arc had finished? I'm not sure what you want here. Stark could have held up the truck. Why not Sam? Well, Tony Stark had an armored suit that enhanced his strength. We don't know if Sam has that. Sam has a flight suit. We don't know if the suit can enhance his strength yet. And I guarantee they will be replacing more characters, expect Hawkeye, Thor, Hulk, and Iron Man to all get the gender bend racial swap treatment next. Well, that's hardly a secret. I mean, we're all well aware that this stuff is happening. They're doing a Hawkeye show where Clint is training Kate Bishop, who is a character from the comics, so we had to expect her to show up at some point. Also, we know they're setting up Young Avengers, so was Kate Bishop supposed to not be a part of that? Also, we know Thor, the next Thor movie is going to do the story about Jane Foster gaining the power of Thor, so that was already happening. And we know the She-Hulk show is being worked on right now, so we knew She-Hulk was coming. Were they just supposed to not do She-Hulk? And we also know that there's an Ironheart show in the works, and I'll give you that one, because who wants to see that? Ironheart is a terrible character with very few fans. That I could do without, I'll give you that one. And I think the Jane Foster gets the power of Thor thing is dumb. I think that's a what-if story that got expanded upon into its own series for a while because feminism, I guess. I think it was lame to give it as much time as it got. And I really don't think you need to make a movie about it because was anybody really missing Jane Foster in Ragnarok? Was Ragnarok worse for not having Jane Foster? No, I mean, Natalie Portman wanted out, and she didn't really care about the role, and nobody missed her when she was gone, so why bring her back? I mean, you still... I mean, Sif might still be out there somewhere. We got Valkyrie, and those characters seemed a lot more popular than Jane Foster, so why do you need Jane Foster? Why? It's just... But I mean, Kate Bishop, okay. She-Hulk. I'm still very interested to see She-Hulk. I have misgivings about the writers of the show, but I would like to see She-Hulk, provided they do a good version of it and not do what they're currently doing with her in the comics, where they just make her all... They just try to make her less like the She-Hulk that people like, but yeah. I think Falcon becoming Captain America is interesting because he has major problems, especially not having the serum. He is a weaker Cap. I will say, though, I love the suit. I'm kind of the opposite. I have some issues with the suit, but I think it's interesting that he doesn't have a super soldier serum because you can tell different types of stories that way. Because he has to rely on the flight suit to kind of even the odds for him, and he has to do other things to compensate for not being a super soldier. There's a story to be told there. So yeah, I'm kind of on the opposite there. It's hard buying Walker would lose to Carly. They picked him as the best of the best from the army to be the new Cap. Hard to believe he wouldn't be far better trained in unarmed combat. No, yeah, he should be. That's why it was hard to swallow. I guess the explanation is that he was having anxiety problems, and also all the Flag Smashers had kind of teamed up on him at one point. So maybe he was in a weakened state. Possibly they didn't explain it. I think that could have been explained better. I do agree with that because he really should have won that fight otherwise. What an anticlimactic end for Batroc the Leaper. Yes, definitely. Didn't like that. Falcon had a bullet-resistant suit from the start, the wings at least. Yeah, exactly. And his new suit was made by the Wakandans. So I imagine that suit was pretty bulletproof. So I don't think there was much of a reason to worry about Sam when Carly had the gun on him, unless she was aiming for the little parts of his face that weren't covered up. Okay. Sam, as preachy as it was, is right that there should be a different solution. All these people have come and earned their place over the last 5 years. It's not fair that they lose it all. Yeah, but it's not fair that the people who got blipped get screwed over when they come back either. So he was right that it's a very complicated situation. The problem is he didn't offer up any solutions. It's just this is complicated and what you're doing doesn't work. So let's just stop doing that. And then the whole thing just remains unresolved, I guess. Okay, you leave your house, don't move, don't sell, just walk out the door and let me move in, then let me stay in the house you paid without getting rent, without getting a cent. Yeah. Yeah, it's the writers were trying to take a very complicated issue and make it and and they wanted someone to get dressed down for not figuring out how to deal with it. It's like they want there to be a simple solution, but there isn't one, so the answer was to just do nothing. And let the people who had bad ideas get punished for it. While the good guys don't have any ideas to replace them. I don't know. That whole thing was just very awkwardly written, I think. Okay. They wrote themselves into a corner. Kind of, yeah. I don't know. Maybe this issue is going to continue to be a thing in Captain America 4. Maybe they'll pick up on it there. I don't know. It seems very strange that they had no real solution to that whole problem. I mean, that was like that was like the inciting incident of the whole season. It's what the whole show was about, and then it just ends with the whole thing unresolved. It's very, very strange. The GRC need a new plan. Those people earned their place in those countries during the time after the snap. They shouldn't be shipped back there to their home countries just because those people came back. Well, okay, but is the solution that the people who got blipped just get screwed over? Should those people not get their homes back? See, the problem is this is a problem without a real solution. There's no good way. There's no really good way to deal with this. No matter what happens, it seems like somebody is going to get screwed here. So it's like the writers put themselves in a position where they had to answer a problem with no real answer. So what do? I don't know. Have someone who your decisions are going to be impacted in the room when you make the decisions. Okay, but how's that going to help? You get somebody who was blipped and somebody who wasn't blipped in the room. Well, we know how they're both going to react to these decisions. The guy who got blipped is going to want his house back. And the person who didn't get blipped is going to want to stay in the house. So what do you do? I don't know. Do you build the second guy do you build a new house so they can both have a house? Okay, well, who pays for that? I don't know. Where do the funds come from? How the hell do you answer this? See, that's why dressing down the GRC doesn't really accomplish that much. Okay, what they're doing isn't working. All right, so what's your answer, Sam? What's your solution? Do you have one? No? Okay. Well, the GRC are trying something. Might not work, but they're trying something. Sam, it just says, oh, no, what you're doing doesn't work, but doesn't offer up any real solutions. It's Daredevil and the Punisher are still superior to both Disney Plus shows, 10 times better. Oh, hell yeah. Daredevil was absolutely better than both Disney Plus shows. Abso-fucking-lutely. Daredevil was fantastic. Now, I wasn't as high on the Punisher, and I haven't seen Punisher Season 2. But Daredevil was fantastic. Absolutely, absolutely amazing show. The boat is the real cliffhanger. Exactly. What happened to this? What happens with the boat? Do they just keep the boat and just let it continue to be a giant money pit? Did they get the boat working? We don't find out. They were just continuing to work on the boat, and the story didn't finish. What happened with the boat? God damn it. I really want to know about this now. How is Sam hurting for money? He's an Avenger, famous even. You'd think he'd have a book deal or other endorsements. It makes no sense. Well, they kind of addressed that. Sam mentioned that Avengers didn't really get paid, which seems strange to me. I mean, you'd think Tony would have put them on the payroll or something. But yeah, I mean, he could get like book deals or endorsement deals or and stuff. Plus, he's got all those government contracts. I mean, Sam should not be hard up for money. He really shouldn't. A guy like him, I mean, he should have ways of making money, especially now. I mean, they could put, and he could like he could like do his autobiography. I'm sure he's got tons of stories he could put in there. I mean, they could put his face on cereal boxes. Hey, look, it's Captain America, and he eats Cheerios. You know what? Sam should not be hard up for money. I still don't get that. Yeah, he was on the run for 2 years. He got blipped for 5 years, but still. Why not use the shield as a brace? Well, that's a little tough. Because you're gonna need the shield to protect you from the punches from a super soldier, but the force is still gonna knock you back. So he was using the wings to keep him from falling over. Because yeah, I guess that's kind of what they were going for there. Why supply Carly after threatening her? That is a good question. So Bartrock was there. Was it Batroc? Bartrock? I don't know. Batroc was there to spy on them. But also the weapons she gave them worked. So holy shit, that is a good question, actually. I hadn't thought about that. Damn, I don't have an answer to that. You're right. That's another plot hole. Why give the Flag Smashers weapons if Sharon was the power broker the whole time? Damn, I don't know. Damn, there's more holes in this story the more I think about it. Crap. You can't tell me that Tony didn't make sure the Avengers and their families were well taken care of. I know, it doesn't really track, does it? the whole thing with Sam being hard up and not having money to buy a boat. So 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 the Avengers were never on the Stark payroll. Like Pepper wouldn't make sure that all the Avengers who got blipped were taken care of financially after Endgame. It's just very hard to swallow that Sam would be hard up for cash. It seems Walker and Zemo were the most interesting here. Well, I think they turned out to be the breakout characters. Plus, things didn't get preachy with them. You know, Walker had those comparisons to Homelander, and Zemo is just a great villain. So I can see how they kind of drew the attention away. Plus, they didn't get preachy with either of those guys. So I'm black, and I didn't like how they made Sam a victim. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of differing opinions on this. Honestly, I just wish they'd done the whole thing differently. I guess I'm not going to criticize them for wanting to explore that whole issue, but I wish they'd done it differently. That's all I'm saying. I'm hyped for your Invincible review. The worst thing is that the show will be over. Ah, no, there's only one more episode. I haven't heard anything about Amazon renewing it for a season 2 yet. They damn well better. Did you guys see the new episode this week? Oh my god. Can't even imagine what's going to happen in the finale. Yeah, if you're not watching Invincible, what's wrong with you? Go watch it right now. And it's clear that John... Damn. And I lost my place. I completely lost my place here. I'm sorry. God, the She-Hulk show is going to be such trash. Well, Dana Schwartz has not inspired a lot of confidence, I'll give you that. I am interested to see She-Hulk. Just out of curiosity. I mean, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt until I at least see a trailer. But I am very intrigued. I hope they don't. I just hope they don't do what they're doing with She-Hulk now. I mean, She-Hulk is supposed. In the comics, they tried to make her all look like some like misshapen bodybuilder now. I mean, that's not She-Hulk. She-Hulk was always supposed to be like beautiful and alluring as well as powerful. They don't want her to be attractive anymore. And we got a super chat. Stefan Korn with another super chat. Thank you so much. Yes, get merch with comfortable tees. We will buy. All right. Okay, yeah, all right. That's what you were talking about. All right, yeah, well, I do have a merchandise store that's been in the works for some time. But the thing is, you have to put down a deposit before you can start making the merch. So, like, the Teespring store continues to be, like, half finished. Things were kind of coming along with that, but then the pandemic just put a halt on everything. So I gotta finish making the Patreon, because I started setting that up and then I stopped. And then I told myself I wanted to have a bunch of exclusive content ready first. So I've been kind of working on that. Maybe I could start it with like a $10 tier being the top one, and just save the $20 tier for when I have more exclusive content ready, because that stuff takes a while. You know, I keep dragging my feet on setting up the Patreon for some reason. I don't know. I gotta get that figured out. Once that's eventually up and running, if enough people sign up for that, maybe I can afford to put down the deposit to open the Teespring store, because I do have designs for that. I've got a whole file here. Let's see, Photoshop. I have a merch graphics file, and there's a bunch of stuff. And some of these are just ideas, but I do have a couple designs here that I could put on T-shirts, you know, pretty quickly. And others, there's some others that I'd have to employ a graphic artist for. So I'd have to search for that. But you know, eventually there will be a Teespring store, and there will be merch, and it's not sure when. Where on earth was I? Are they going to let Jane Foster keep her cancer storyline or nah? I don't know. My guess is they might keep it, and maybe that's the reason why her and Thor broke up, and she kept her illness a secret. I guess that would make sense. But we don't really know. Plus, I mean, Mjolnir is still destroyed. I don't think Mjolnir never got repaired. I mean, Thor had the Mjolnir from the past, but you know, Steve took that back. So now Thor is using Stormbreaker, and I don't think that has the same ability to grant someone else the power of Thor. So I'm not sure how they're going to give Jane Foster the power of Thor. I believe she becomes a Valkyrie in the comics eventually, so maybe they'll just do that. Or maybe she'll gain the power of an Asgardian, and not technically the power of Thor. I don't know how that's going to work. I would assume that they'll keep the cancer thing, because that's an easy way to explain why she wasn't in Ragnarok, or why her and Thor broke up. I would assume so, but I couldn't tell you. For me, the MCU ends with Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3. Well, I think I think Sony and Disney are playing nice right now, so there's a chance we could get more Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. I think there's a pretty good chance of that, actually. Doctor Strange is the only good character left, but I expect him to get whooped by Wanda. Well, I mean, come on, we got more new characters on the way. You know, Fantastic Four, the X-Men will be there eventually. Plus, Spider-Man is still around, and other people. We got. It's not. It'll be all right. Okay. They asked him what to do, and Sam said, "I don't know." Yeah. It's all well and good for chastising the GRC for what they're doing wrong, but if you don't actually have any answers yourself, then what are we really accomplishing? That was definitely a weakness of the writing in this season. The only thing I can think of is that this story is going to carry over into Captain America 4, where and maybe at that point they'll finally offer up a real solution to this problem, because right now there doesn't seem to be one. I bet they'll make She-Hulk look like the new gross manly version of herself that just looks like Hulk with long hair. That is my concern as well. Like, what is... And that's dumb, because the whole point of doing She-Hulk is that she is different from the Hulk. She is a female version. What is wrong with letting her be attractive? You know? That's kind of why She-Hulk has a fan base, is because she's a Hulk, but she's different. She's her own unique version. You know, she keeps her mind, and she keeps her human mind when she transforms, and she's also not this muscle-bound brute. You know, she's still... Yeah. Still liking Invincible? Hell yeah. Shang-Chi doesn't look exciting. Looks kind of cheap too. I don't know about that. I think Shang-Chi looks really interesting just because it's different. You know, Marvel hasn't done a kung fu movie yet. So I'm actually very interested in Shang-Chi. I mean, maybe they'll step outside their formula. I mean, they tried a little bit with that with WandaVision. Results were a little bit mixed. But I like kung fu movies. Could be a lot of fun. Did you see the Mortal Kombat movie? Yes, I did. I saw it last night. I'm recording my review of it after I get done with this. Aunt May addressed this. She came back in her old apartment with new residents and she had to get a new apartment. Yeah, well, that's one case. The whole the whole GRC issue was addressing people in other countries, I think. So, yeah, it's possible this whole the whole post-blip storyline was not really mapped out, or they didn't really have a concrete plan of what to do about it across all the different Marvel projects. And also, the Spider-Man movies kind of took a more comedic approach to the whole thing, whereas this show was trying to examine it in a lot more in a more serious light. I'm not sure how effective it was, but it's two very different methods of addressing the issue. Kaylin Wilkinson, I hope I got your name right. Thank you for the super chat. Will you review Dota Dragon's Blood? I thought about it, but then I watched the show and I was kind of vexed by it. I felt like there was a lot of context for stuff I was missing because I'd never played the games before. So I didn't really feel like I could form a concrete opinion of it because there was just some information that was kind of over my head. So, I don't know, maybe I'd have to watch it again or something. It's possible, but I feel like the window on that one kind of closed. If I did a review of it now, I kind of missed the boat. Joe Kage 13, thank you for the super chat. Falcon Winter Soldier, overall good show, but the finale felt very hollow. The show is trying to share a powerful political message, but it feels so clumsy. Yeah. I don't think the writers were necessarily cut out for this type of stuff. I think they tried to examine a political issue, but the issue itself is a lot more complex than the writers were prepared to deal with. Hence why there's the whole issue of the people who got blipped and the people who didn't get blipped, it never really gets resolved. No, it's just, what the GRC are doing doesn't work. So they stop doing it, and then the whole thing just remains a mess. And I don't know where we go from here. Blipped people who were renting need to find a new place. Blipped people who owned their home get it back or get paid all the equity they paid into to buy the new owner. Yeah, but it's not that simple because nobody knew that all the blipped people would come back. Yeah, blipped people who owned their home should get it back, but no one ever thought this person would return, and which means that somebody else probably legally owns the home now. So now you've got two legal owners of the home, so what do you do? No matter what you do, someone's getting screwed over. And there doesn't seem to be a good answer to this problem. And some people talking about Iron Fist in the chat. Iron Fist Season 2 was better. They got more budget. Yeah, season 2 was better. It was. Felt like they fixed a lot of the problems. Still wasn't a perfect show. Season 2 was an improvement, though. Not sure where all these Iron Fist comments are coming from all of a sudden. Wasn't Tony broke in Endgame? No, he was just, he just, moved his family out into a cabin in the woods or something. Maybe he wanted to get away from all the craziness. Completely correct with the Sam holding up the armored truck scene. This show sucked. It's absolutely awful. This episode had me laughing at times so hard, it was like I was watching Seinfeld. I wouldn't go that far. I think the action was done well for the most part, but there are moments that don't add up. Like, how is Sam holding up the armored truck? That doesn't make sense. Why don't the Flag Smashers have guns? That doesn't make sense. There is a lot of action in this sequence that works. There are moments of stupidity there. Sam and Bucky were by far the best because they acted as their characters would. Sam used violence when required, but wasn't really wanting to. Zemo was up for anything to achieve his goals. Yeah. Alright. Like, I can understand Sam not wanting to use guns, especially now that he's supposed to be Captain America. Him wanting to find, like, a peaceful solution if possible. I can understand Bucky not wanting to use guns because he's trying to get away from the Winter Soldier stuff. Don't really understand why the Flag Smashers wouldn't use them. Yeah, and Zemo. Yeah, of course. Very underhanded guy. He'll do anything. Episode was actually good. Otherwise, I'm so tired of the gore-fest superhero edgy boy shows like The Boys. Ooh, maybe you shouldn't be watching Invincible then. Oi. Can you review the CW show Kung Fu? And Mortal Kombat movie just came out. Mortal Kombat review should be up tomorrow. Hopefully. I'm going to shoot it tonight. We'll see how much editing I get done. But Mortal Kombat review should be up tomorrow or the day after. I have not seen Kung Fu. At least not yet anyway. Where am I? I have no idea. We don't know how much post-snap looting took place. How much does someone who gets blipped back have left when they return? Yeah, well, I mean, legally they should have everything they had when they got blipped. But maybe the government seized all that stuff. I mean, there's so many complicated political ramifications and details and things to work out here. It doesn't look like the writers were quite prepared to explain all that stuff. Not the writers of this show, anyway. I've got another super chat in here. Avar Jantz. I hope I got that right. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. The new quote-unquote writing, Doctor Who, Batwoman, this show, etc., all have a time where they pontificate, practically look at the camera, and then they call it immoral. Yeah, it's frustrating. So it is kind of a... It can be kind of annoying finding shows that don't do that. Thankfully, there are shows that are still written by normal people who don't feel the need to lecture the audience. Shows like Invincible, for example. Go watch Invincible right now. Yeah, I mean, those shows are out there. It's just... It is really annoying to see this stuff seeping into our entertainment. I hear you. I mean, thankfully, most of this stuff it tends to be restricted to shows that I wouldn't watch anyway. Like, I've never been a Doctor Who person. I wouldn't watch Batwoman if I wasn't reviewing it. And I would have watched Falcon Winter Soldier, so that's kind of frustrating, but thankfully it doesn't happen too often. Let's see. John Walker needed more development. We needed flashbacks. We needed Sam to maybe see him do a good job and then get frustrated something. Man, he could have used flashbacks, absolutely. I think that was something missing from his story, because we knew he definitely had PTSD from something he did in the military. We don't know what. Now, maybe they're going to tell that story later on, but I think we needed to see something from him here. So you're right about that. I wish they had spent a full film between Infinity War and Endgame to show what the world had become. That would have been helpful. But what movie do you do that with? That might have been something to consider, like Marvel doing an original story. Maybe not one featuring any of the characters, but just showing like what the world is post-blip and how people are dealing with. Maybe have like cameos and guest appearances from people, but not have it be like a normal superhero film, but have it be like a geopolitical thing where they sort all that stuff out and just give a concrete explanation about like what the world exactly is now. That would have been helpful. I'm not sure if it would have been all that successful, but it would have helped clarify a lot of things. Only problem with Invincible is that Amber specifically is too woke. I didn't get that impression. I was more concerned with... I was more bothered by what Amber did in the new episode. Now, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but I was kind of on her side until that episode, and then, boy, she ruined that. But yeah, I didn't get the sense that she was woke. I mean, yeah, she's a white character in the comics and was race-bent here, but it's not like Amber was like a... It's not like her... it's not like they make a big deal out of that. I don't think it really changes anything about the character. Now, I haven't really read the comics. I've kind of skimmed through them. I think Amber can be race bent into a black girl and still be Amber, and nothing about the character is really that different. So I didn't have an issue with that. The issue is more like what they did with her in the most recent episode. I liked Amber up until that point, but then they kind of ruined her. She literally says they have a great social justice program at the college. Oh, yeah, there was that part. Yeah, I remember that now. But then the rest of the episode isn't about that at all. It's about cyborgs attacking the college, and some lunatic student chopping people up and turning them into half machine style monsters. So. The social justice thing kind of was quickly forgotten. They race bent Amber. Was she a redhead previously? No, I think she was a blonde. I never really read the Invincible comics until after the show came out, and I kind of breezed through them online. So I've kind of got like a rough overview of some of the major events. But yeah, I know Amber was a blonde in the comics. I think a couple of the characters are different. I think Rexplode was a white guy, and now he's in the cartoon. He's tanned. I don't know what he is in the cartoon. Also, I think Shrinking Ray in the comic is a man. They race bent him into a woman. I'm fine with that because I think the character design is kind of hot. So I'm cool with that. But, none of the changes really seem to change anything about the characters themselves. So to me, the changes aren't really a big deal. That may change later on, but so far I'm fine with them. Thank you for mentioning what Amber did in the recent episode of Invincible. That really annoyed me. I understood her frustration until that. Yeah, because it's like, I know that she's not who Mark ends up with in the comics, so I figured that relationship was going to be temporary, and they'd have to break up at some point, but I just spoiled it for you. Sorry. But yeah, what happens in an episode, what Amber does, it's like, Mark really just can't win with this girl. It's like they made her borderline, well, nothing borderline about her. They made her super irrational, I guess because they had to break them up. But it felt like Amber became kind of out of character in the process. Like, she seemed fairly understanding until then. But suddenly it's like, oh, Mark tries to do this. He tries to make it right. He tries to explain anything, and she's just not having it. She's just determined to be mad at him because the source material says they have to break up. It really turned me against the Amber character. And I think we were meant to be more understanding of her viewpoint, but I just wasn't. I was like, Mark, you dodged a bullet here, buddy. It's probably for the best that this relationship ends. Really hope The Boys changes direction from the comics. Well, they already have. Really. I mean, they've taken quite a few liberties with The Boys. And it looks like Season 3 may be poised to have them follow the source material a little more closely, but they've already kind of gone off in some different directions there. Devin Silver, thank you for the super chat. She's a worthless feminist. What did you expect? I kind of hoped that Amber would remain a likable character, because I liked her up until that point. But I feel like her acting that way was less about her being a feminist and more about them just needing to end the relationship, because that's what happens in the comics. But to me, it just didn't really jibe with the character Amber had been up until that point. They're already alluding to the end game from the comics of the boys with Billy, and I can't stand that. Well, I mean, if you read the comics, you know that's not what happens to Homelander in the comics. And even if that's how they're planning to wrap this up in the show, it's not going to happen tomorrow. I mean, Billy's still a kid. I mean, if he's going to be their ultimate Homelander deterrent, that's going to be quite a few years in the future. I mean, we're not close to the end game yet. If they kept the Netflix TV shows and took them into the post-Snap era, they could have done something with that. Yeah, actually, your Daredevil would have been a good show to do something like that. Would have been able to examine the legal ramifications of something, someone got blipped, comes back, and a new family's living in their apartment. What happens? I don't know. I'll get a lawyer and sue them. Enter Nelson and Murdoch. And that would have been a good show to examine all that stuff, actually. It's too bad. Oh, no, Billy Butcher. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, I haven't watched The Boys in a minute. Billy Butcher. And Avar Jance, one of those. Thank you for the super chat. We tangled in the comments over the Nevers, but at least the things they talk about there was the discourse of the day. Boer War, suffrage, etc. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think the Nevers, I think, is doing a great job at examining, political type issues in a way that doesn't become annoying. I mean, it does. I think the mistake is people thinking it's trying to get woke or trying to get too feminist or whatever. It's really not. It's exploring issues like that. But given the time period, those things would have been issues anyway. So I think that's kind of the point of the show. It's like, let's look at all that stuff that was happening around that time while also adding superpowers to the mix. But at the end of the day, I said this in the comments too, I don't think the point of the Nevers is to take a feminist stance. I think the point is to espouse the idea that putting either gender, male or female, ahead of the other is wrong. Because some people think it's just woke feminist crap. It's not. They're not portraying all the male characters as assholes, and they're not portraying all the female characters as, crusading ideologues. Yes, there is a woman who's technically our lead action heroine, but They haven't really explained her fighting abilities yet. It might be a superpower. We don't know yet. There's clearly a story there, which they alluded to in episode 2. It's not all the women who have superpowers. There's actually an important storyline developing about one of the men having powers. Like they said in episode 1, that not one man of stature was given powers. Well, now we have one. And it's an important story that he didn't realize that he was touched, and now he's like, oh, wait, I have a superpower. I didn't know this. I didn't realize it. What do I do about this? That's an important story. Also, there's a female character, spoilers for episode 2 here, who is clearly very snobbish and kind of bosses around her younger brother, and she has a line in there about men with influence have wives of actual influence. So she's the closest the show has come to introducing a feminist ideologue type of character. And then guess what? At the end of the episode, she's revealed to be a villain. So we're not supposed to agree with her. So all the characters who think that one gender should be placed above the other are the bad guys. Whether they think it's men or whether they think it's women. They're the villains. And the good guys are the people who are of the opinion that the men and women should all be working together and all be seen as equals. I think that's the real message of the show. And I went off on a bit of a tangent there. I'm sorry, but I was talking about this in the comments. It seems like a lot of people have gotten the wrong idea about this show. And I'm like, no, that's not really what it's about. It's about all this and stuff. You just got to pay attention. All right, let's try to wrap this up, because I got to rest my voice a little bit. I just can't bring myself to pay for HBO. I can see how the Nevers might make sense, though. I'd have to watch to confirm. All right. I already had HBO in my cable package, fortunately. Plus, I got HBO Max. I had to pay for 6 months in advance, but that was so I could review Wonder Woman 84. Thankfully, ad revenue for that review paid for the subscription. I think it's worth it, though. There's a lot of good stuff on HBO Max. Is there anything else I need to talk about here? Alright, the problem with woke Hollywood is that people have been so aggressive with pushing it and rejecting it that it's hard to tell what is and isn't trying to be woke. This is true. I think a lot of people have started seeing wokeness where it doesn't really exist now. And it's like they're on a hair trigger. So like the slightest little thing can set them off. So sometimes you'll think something is getting woke when it's not really, but it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction now. And I really hope that doesn't last forever. Like at some point we're going to have to think about things a little more carefully before we fly off the handle like that. And I've been guilty of stuff like that myself sometimes. So that's why I always try to give things the benefit of the doubt when I can. Don't always succeed, but I do try. And, sometimes you'll find that a project that you think might be getting woke isn't really. Just because they're examining a certain issue doesn't mean it's woke. It's just trying to explore something. Maybe I'm not explaining that all that well, but that's all I got. I think we could probably wrap this up. I like the social commentary. Yeah, Nevers does a lot of social commentary. It's very good with that stuff. It's all been very smart so far. Been really enjoying that. And whoop, we got another super chat. Hold on. MKF30. Thank you for the super chat. Have you seen Mortal Kombat? It's a fun ride. Yeah, I saw it last night. I'm going to keep my opinions to myself until I do the review. I wrote that afterward. So I've got the script all written up. I'm gonna shoot that a little bit later tonight. There were things I liked. There were things I had some issues with. Excuse me. But yeah, I have seen it. There is a review coming. Either tomorrow or the day after. Excuse me. Sharon was dead for 5 years due to the snap. How can she be the power broker? Was this discussed here? Do we know that Sharon was blipped? I don't think we ever got confirmation on that. I was under the impression that she was not blipped. If there was a line that says she was blipped, point it out to me, because if there was, I missed it. Do you think they should bring back Arrow and Oliver Queen from the dead? No. I think he got out he got out at the right time. And also he's working on Stephen Amell has a new show coming out now, so he wouldn't be available anyway. Yeah, CW is going down a new path now. So yeah, I don't think a character like Oliver Queen necessarily works for them anymore, and I wouldn't want to see what they did with him if he came back. She claimed she was. And then the next comment is, I'm pretty sure Sharon was not blipped. If Sharon was blipped, show me the scene where she said she was, because I completely missed that. The Nevers is a good show with good commentary. Thank you. I agree. Yes, there's been a lot of debate about that. Because just doing social commentary does not mean the show is getting woke. It doesn't. It just means it's doing commentary. She said she spent 5 years hiding because S.H.I.E.L.D. came after her for helping getting the S.H.I.E.L.D. in the suit and the trio. Alright, so she wasn't blipped. We did get confirmation in Endgame we saw her face next to Sam as members of the deceased. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean she was blipped, it just means that she disappeared. Because, you know, Ant-Man, Scott Lang, was thought to be one of the blipped, but he wasn't. He just disappeared. So maybe Sharon just went on the run and people assumed that she got blipped. Or it could just be a plot hole that they didn't account for. All right. Alright, I think we're just going around in circles there. Here, that's probably a good place to end it for today, guys. Thank you to everyone in the comments. Thank you to all our super chats. Thank you, Shannon Jones. Thank you, Anthony Guidis. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. Sty Games, thank you. Shannon Jones with another super chat. Thank you very much. Stephen Korn, thank you for the $10. And Stephen Korn with an additional $4.99. Thank you so much. Kaylin Wilkinson, thank you for the $1.99. Jokaje 13, thank you. Avar Jantz, I think it's one of those. Sorry if I got it wrong, but thank you for the $5. Devin Silver with 2 units of some kind of European currency that I don't recognize. Thank you very much. Avar Jantz or Jantz again with another $5. Thank you. And MKF30, thank you for the $2. Thanks to all our super chatters. Thanks for talking to me. I think that is going to put a halt on the live streams, at least for now. I guess Loki is the next Marvel series, so for that, I think I'm going to use like a quick take review style format where I review the episode kind of in a truncated form with reviews that'll probably be like under 10 minutes that I can make and crank out very quickly. And we'll see if that helps with the algorithm. Because I'm going to try to figure out what is killing my analytics right now. If and when I can do that, then I'll see what I can do about the live streams and bringing those back. Because if it's not the live streams, we can keep doing them. If it is, then I guess the solution would be to start a separate channel just for live streams. Of course, if I did that, it would take a while to monetize. So, which is not the easiest thing in the world. All of a sudden, I got lucky with this channel because once I became eligible for monetization, the process was really easy, and it happened pretty quickly. And I know that is not the case for everyone. In fact, it's usually not the case. But getting ahead of myself here. So we may have a separate channel in the future for live streams. I will let you know when I make a decision about that. But for now, I'm probably gonna do like a quick take style review for the Loki episodes. So watch out for those. Thank you everyone for tuning in and subscribing and liking the video. And yeah, thanks for talking to me. I will see you guys again soon. Watch out for the Mortal Kombat review that's coming either tomorrow or the day after that. And again, I think after that we've got Shadow and Bone. I think it's what it is. Shadow and Bone. I think that'll be the next one after that because there's no Batwoman episode this week. It's on reruns. So I'll have time to watch Shadow and Bone, and then I guess maybe I'll see if I can do a review on that, and then I'll get back to you with whatever's next. Thank you very much. Thanks to the commenters. Thanks for the super chats, and I will see you guys later. Take care.